Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on one of my comedy favorites, Bob Einstein. They're doing a Super Bob Einstein documentary on HBO Max, and I have to talk about it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 7. Get them while you can. Okay. So, Bob Einstein unfortunately passed away. I forget when, a few years ago. But he was one of the funniest guys ever. He was Super Dave Osborn, if you've ever seen his bits. I just loved it. I just thought he was the funniest guy ever. And they interview a lot of people from the Larry David Show, David Letterman, because he was on the Larry David Show. Um, and a lot of different people, Jerry Seinfeld. So it's going to be a documentary about his life, and he is the brother of Albert Brooks, in case you don't know. They were both his name is actually Albert Einstein. So obviously he gave himself a stage name for that reason. And there was a third brother who was also in it too, who I don't believe is famous for anything other than being the brothers of two famous guys. So there's a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm clips, a lot of clips from Dave from the Smothers Brothers. Steve Martin knew him. There's J.B. Smooth, who worked with him a little bit, and they're showing bits from his special. For some reason, Sarah Silverman's in it. I don't know why. I don't remember her working with him. Rob Reiner's interviewed. I'm sure he probably worked with him at some point because Rob's been around. Jimmy Kimmel, I don't remember him. Maybe he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. But, I mean, I think it'll be a cool documentary. I think you'll see a lot of funny clips. A lot of funny clips. He was really funny. I mean, truly a funny guy who just would get you almost every time with one of these crazy stunts or bits. He would go to 0 to funny in very, very quickly. And I don't say that as a joke. It really was true. He would get me so many times. You really have to see him. If you haven't discovered Super Dave Osborn and Bob Einstein, man, you're just missing out. He's so funny. It's corny as hell sometimes, but that's part of his shtick. Like he's very corny, and then suddenly, boom, he hits you with something funny. It just comes out of nowhere. So this is on HBO. I certainly am going to watch this. Streaming December 28th. This is my Christmas present. I am such a huge fan of Dave, Super Dave, and man, it's just great. I think it's great they're doing a tribute to him because I think he really truly deserves it. You know, there's a lot of guys they do documentaries on. They're still alive, and it's like they really need to do a documentary on this guy. I think the reason he deserves this so much is because Super Dave was like. He was like a working man's comedian. He was always there. He was always funny, but he wasn't like super, super famous. He was famous, but he wasn't like super famous. He wasn't like mega famous that everybody knew who he was. He kind of kept, I think it was part of his charm and part of his comedy that he kind of didn't want to be too known, you know? Maybe he did, I don't know. But I think it was better that he wasn't all that known. I think it helped his comedy because when you would see him as Super Dave, you would go, wait a minute, have I seen this guy before? And then, you know, for a while he got very popular as Super Dave Osborn. He had his own show and whatnot, but even then it was like you kind of wouldn't remember. He would show up on late night talk shows and do a shtick. You know, he did a great one. He would do one on Letterman every once in a while, and again, it would be the appearances would be far enough apart you had just forgotten about him, and then he'd show up again and you'd be like, yeah, this guy, what did he do last time? I'm not sure I remember. I remember some kind of stunt. And then it would come off and you just, it was just so funny. So one of my comedy heroes, Bob Einstein, a documentary. I'm going to highly, highly recommend this, unseen, simply because of the clips. I mean, you know, I'm not normally a behind-the-scenes guy at all. I find all that stuff tedious and boring as hell. But in this particular case, I'm going to urge you to watch this, especially if you're a comedian, especially if you want to write screenplays about comedy. Bob, to me, is the kind of guy you should look at because his stuff would just come out of left field and punch you in the face, and you would laugh your A off. So, comedy hero, Bob Einstein, the Super Bob Einstein movie, streaming December 28th. The late, great Bob Einstein. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan today. I'm going to wrap it here. Now, make sure you check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble. The links are all below. You can go to the sites, just make an account, bookmark our videos. There are ways to do it. Any of the platforms are fine. I'm going to post all my videos there every single day. So if I stop posting here again, just come to the other platforms. You'll see all 4 videos. And if you want to see the stuff about news and my various takes on and opinions on things that I can't say on YouTube, they're over there. Okay? Joan and I got to go to dinner. See ya next time.